So, I am in a hotel room in Glasgow, Scotland. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen the update from Brittany Page, who is guest hosting for me, the lovely and talented, scholarly co-host of my podcast, our podcast, I Doubt It. And while my best friend is in critical condition, I thought I would be just there, and I cannot do it. It's too much, and I need to busy myself with work. So there is going to be few videos from me in addition to Brittany's co-hosting. And I appreciate all of the well wishes. There have been hundreds of emails and voicemails and messages and Twitter DMs. And I'm not in any way going to be able to. It's not physically possible. There's not enough time to go through and thank you all. So thank you so much for reaching out. I appreciate it more than you know. Let's talk about this 2025, this Project 2025 thing. Brittany Page and I wrote a scripted video that we did. I'll put a link below. Here's the thumbnail for you to be reminded about it. I would encourage you, it is maybe the most important thing you can do right now, is educate yourself and educate others about the sinister agenda of Project 2025, which Donald Trump is absolutely, without doubt, up to his neck in. In fact, there was many comments left in my title and in the thumbnail. I said, Trump's Project 2025. And people are, it's not Trump's Project 2025. And it has been admitted that absolutely it is Donald Trump's Project 2025. And now that Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation, came out and said, I want to get the quote right, that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be. What this means is, if Democrats, he calls the left, leftists being Democrats, if Democrats surrender to their agenda, if Democrats allow it to go forward, then if there's a full surrender, it will be a bloodless revolution. If not, though, there will be bloodshed. This is a threat of violence from again, Republicans. And now that people are catching on, people are starting finally to wake up to what is at stake here, the dangers that are posed by the Heritage Foundation and many, many other groups and the Trump campaign implementing Project 2025. Now, Donald Trump is backing away from trying to deny any involvement in this. He posted this on Truth Social. I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. He has such an iron fist rule of the Republican Party that he has no idea what all these disparate groups and members of Heritage Foundation are doing. What? Steve Bannon's been banging on about Project 2025 for months and months and months. Yet Donald Trump, what? I don't know. It's such a clear lie. It gives conservatives plausible deniability that he's actually involved when there has been time and time again where it's been admitted that he is involved and he will take credit for it. Here's Kevin Roberts saying that very thing.
We've been working with all of them on one project since soon after Joe Biden took the oath of office, before any conservative presidential candidates had even entered the race. As my friend and colleague Paul Dans before talked about briefly, our Project 2025 has developed a comprehensive policy agenda, but even more importantly, recruiting people, 20,000 people to go into the next administration, hopefully to help take back this country for you and for your audiences. We want no credit. We want the American people, if President Trump is elected again, President Trump and his administration, to take credit for that. But it will also be a great sign, if all of this is successful, that in fact, as we know in our prayer time, but maybe not every time when we're watching the news, that the Lord is still smiling upon America.
And if that isn't enough for you, here's John McEntee. Remember a few months ago when the video of him on TikTok went viral, saying that he gives homeless people counterfeit money so they'll use it and then get arrested for using counterfeit money, for distributing counterfeit. This is the kind of piece of shit that we're dealing with here. here's him talking to Steve Bannon about Donald Trump implementing this. John McEntee's a former Donald Trump appointee in the past administration, and he's saying Donald Trump will implement this on day one. Watch this.
Walk through, tell me what the plan is.
So we're collecting resumes. We're getting as much information as we can now to save the transition time on the back end. As you know, when a president wins, or president-elect wins, things happen very quickly, and you have a short amount of time to staff an entire administration. It's also looking beyond the 4,000 and what we can do with the bureaucracy itself. So we're thinking of creative policy things as well that will integrate with this.
Well, hold it. When we talk about that, let's talk about schedule. I mean, is there going to be a plan in place to start to take apart the administrative state?
There has to be, and yes, there will be. The next president, if President Trump gets back in there, he needs to reorient the government that's in a way that hasn't been seen since Franklin Roosevelt did it with the New Deal. We need to gut these agencies. We need to start from scratch. We need to make a new government, essentially, because the one that we have now doesn't work for conservatives. It wasn't made for us. It's built against us. So we have to go back to the drawing board with these agencies.
And if that, my friends, is not enough to convince you, I don't know what you're paying attention to, what you're not paying attention to. But here is Stephen Miller, the goofy Goebbels wannabe, and his involvement. First, let me read a little bit from this Daily Beast article entitled, "Former Trump advisor Stephen Miller denies involvement with Project 2025. Says otherwise." Now, here's the article, and then I'm going to play this brief minute-and-a-half video from the Heritage Foundation. In fact, here's a screenshot from the unlisted now video. They don't want you to know. They don't want the American people to know after they've banged on about this for months and months and months, letting the world know their plans, and now they're going to back away. Here is this article, and then we'll get to that video. Former Trump advisor Stephen Miller claimed he has, quote, never been involved with Project 2025 in a post on Twitter on Saturday. However, a video on the Project 2025 YouTube channel says otherwise. Following in former President Donald Trump's footsteps, Miller tried to deny he has had any involvement with the plan that has been described as ridiculous and abysmal by his former boss. Unfortunately for Miller, he appears in a video on the Project 2025 website entitled Project 2025 Presidential Administration Academy. Miller addressed the Biden-Harris campaign Twitter account, which shared a screen grab of Miller in the video, telling followers on Twitter, "I know you're upset because your candidate has soft pudding for brains, but that's not a recruitment ad." And a while back, I made a video for students on how to build skills. I never had been involved with Project 2025. Not one word. But keep hoaxing, losers. Hoaxes are all you have. Miller isn't the only Trump administration official linked to Project 2025. Former Trump assistant Spencer Creighton, we'll just call him a Creighton, that very fitting, my mispronunciation of his word, inadvertent, works. Former Trump Office of Personnel Management, Chief of Staff Paul Dans, and Trump advisor Troop Hemingway appeared in a video and are listed on Project 2025 website as creators of the plan. Donald Trump campaign press secretary Caroline Leavitt, remember, she's the Amy Schumer, the 10-cent Amy Schumer wannabe. She is also in it. Leavitt also appears in the video right after Miller. And here, for your edification and your knowledge, is that, I think, a minute and 20-second video with her, the campaign spokesperson, and Stephen Miller, who's up to his neck in Donald Trump's butthole. Watch this.
Conservatives exist to conserve the ideals of the American founding.
These ideas are actually the source of our recovery. On January 20th, when the president puts his hand on the Bible, everything changes.
Our goal is to ensure that the conservative administration that takes office in January of 2025 is ready on day one.
The next conservative president will only be able to do so with your help.
from the president of the Conservative Partnership Institute,
Vice President of Hillsdale College,
the head of the Office of Justice Programs,
Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs,
Senior Advisor to the President,
Assistant Press Secretary.
You're here to cut government. You're here to do something that's not in their interest.
The deep state is real. You want to be someone who knows answers.
As a public servant, you're working on behalf of the American people, the greatest country on the planet.
It's your job to ensure that that power is executed responsibly and in line with the president's will.
This is your chance to truly make a difference.
We're glad you're joining us.
Undeniable. But it's a hoax. It's a hoax. They're liars. They're liars because they're not trying to convince MAGA Americans of it, because they're in the tank. Donald Trump could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not lose a single voter. The Supreme Court just rendered him, if he gets elected, a king. A man who is now a convicted felon 34 times over will implement dangerous, illegal policies knowing he has complete immunity for official acts. Come on. Look, this is dangerous because Donald Trump knows about the immunity ruling and he is betting on that. You need to tell everybody you know about the dangers of this. Share every single video that you can find that outlines the sinister plot to tear down America. In that video where they're talking about, oh, conservatives want to preserve the founders and the founders, they want to preserve America from that era where there are slave owners, where women can't vote and don't have rights. They want white, straight men to be the power structure. They want to reinvigorate, reestablish white supremacy under color of law in America. And if you think I'm being exaggerative or hyperbolic, you've not been paying attention. You're either not a regular viewer or maybe you're okay with that idea. Well, I can tell you this. Bloodless or not, there is American Revolution going on right now. And it is them wanting to create a new fundamental structure for America. They failed in their coup attempt to overthrow the United States government by way of overturning a free and fair settled American election where Joe Biden got 7+ million more votes. And it's not over. This election is the most consequential election that we've ever faced in the entirety of this nation. 248 years. Get involved. I welcome your comments. I welcome your participation in this conversation. You can call 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I want to once again thank you for all of your kind words and your positive vibes. If you're a prayer, your prayers. This man is my best friend of decades. He's my brother, my family of choice. I'm here supporting him and his wife, and I appreciate you. If you appreciate this channel and the work I do and you want to help support it, you want to help me make these videos from this little tiny hotel room close to the hospital here in Scotland, you can click the join button below. Become a channel member for $2 a month. I would very, very much appreciate it. There is no sick time. There's no benefits when you're a YouTuber. And I would appreciate your support very much. You can also go over to Patreon. Become a patron there. It's patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Both are very critical, especially in times like this that are unexpected. I would appreciate your support. It's a humbling experience. And it's humbling to even ask, but I would appreciate it very much. Follow me on social media. I'm everywhere @Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And as always, and as I will continue to say in every video, be genuine. Take care of one another.